4 o'clock in the morning, or 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So let us come across the symptoms. In history, she had infantile sepsis, a leukorrhea, seen twice. She's 6-year-old, just remember that. So these all symptoms, what is the relevance of history? History will point towards some tendencies or some remedial predispositions, right? On hearing leukorrhea in little girl, we might think across some remedies. Likewise, the thinking process should go. Masturbation disposition to this was a peculiar and the most important symptom for me, according to in this situation. Whenever she gets time, she will take a pillow and she will go and have her private space. And that was great craving for oranges or all citrus fruits. She can simply take a lemon and have it. She can take ice cubes in her mouth and chew. They are Christians. And they have all these type of the non-veg meat, red meat, but the peculiarity is that she is really fond of that fat part, the pork, lard, and the fat of meat. So loves to go to beach. So this was my first impression of the case, and this clearly points towards a remedy, or a few remedies might have come up in your minds also, right? A desire for masturbation disposition in young girls, or early sexuality. The remedies are platina, oreganum, lachesis, and what else? Medorinum, right? Carcinosins. All those medicines with early sexuality. And look, okay. So the suggestions, the masturbation disposition, I have mentioned the remedies, the craving for oranges, the most important remedy is medorinum. And if you take it as great craving for really citrus things, the most important other remedies coming up are calcarea sulfurica, veratrum, the ice cubes, the remedies that will chew ice cubes, isn't it? It is medorinum and veratrum. All those remedies that require pork, lard, or fat, great craving for fat, it is medorinum again, and acid nitricum, then sulfur, and the preference towards beaches are mainly the nosodes, that means the carcinosin and the medorinums, isn't it? So my understanding was medorinum, I have prescribed 10 mg on 15, 12, 18, and after 2 weeks, says 3 days, she was a bit calmer, not a great change or a great improvement. And sleep is more or less same, sleeps an hour or more earlier. Another important point which I based for selecting medorinum was, these are the people who are very energetic during night. They are night people. So my thought process or my interpretation in her case was like that she's more, she wants to stay awake very late till say 3 or 4, and she will get tired and then sleep. And the daytime she is dull. Mostly towards evening she is active, which she was. Let us continue. And follow up after say on 22, after say 2 or 3 months, still wakes up from sleep crying, but then sleeps after say 3 or 4 hours. So the 6 hour scenario has changed to 3 hours. Only that much improvement. The masturbation is still there. On inquiry, she is averse to tight garments. So after waiting for, felt that medorinum is not actually giving improvement. So I thought of another remedy, the next possible or probable remedy, which has all these combinations: masturbation and or early sexuality, plus this desire for sour things. On inquiry, she was really averse to tight garments, which clearly for me suggested lachesis and lemon. Okay, lachesis 1 was given. The masturbatory behavior was better a little bit, the 20%. Still, these are not the expected changes that we will actually wish to have after a correct homeopathic medicine. But she is more aggressive, biting herself. So this is the recent change. Normally, if you observe this particular child, and the basic difference in the other children is that she is much more calmer, right from the she's not a destructive child. She is a calm child, but she now is becoming aggressive, biting herself, and developed talking in sleep. So this biting and talking in sleep, of course, I have mentioned. And then I prescribed belladonna on them, and then a slight improvement was there, but new symptoms or new symptomatology developed, showing great fear of darkness, fear of water. At that time, she was having fear of darkness and fear of water. I know you all will be well versed with the combination. It is stramonium. And crying in sleep, stramonium was given. After that, fear improved. She became calmer, settled down. See, in 7/6/19, sleep really disturbed since 2 weeks. Again, I have to interfere with another remedy because this remedy, the previous remedy was not giving any result even after repeating or raising the potency. So ice cubes are there, lemon craving is there, screaming in sleep is there, and biting is there. All those issues, strong issues are there, which are fearful, and the Veratrum was prescribed in this juncture. And then came a slight positive development. See, after all these, or during all these episodes, actually what I was expecting was that a development of something simpler. That means if you have to get a positive change in these sort of situations, some simple infections with fever has to come. And I was always requesting all these visits to the parents that if such a situation happens, please don't interfere without my permission with any other medicines. So that was the best, that was the humble request put forward by me, and they were really actually worried because they cannot imagine their child without any medication during a fever episode. So it was actually a great puzzle for them, but somehow I managed to convince them, in spite of not providing them with a substantial improvement in their child's health. And then suddenly developed this an abscess in back at the coccyx. And mother greatly apprehensive about the child's suffering, because she herself had suffered such an abscess few months back, which was really painful, terribly painful, and she has to undergo an IND, and it was removed. So the mother was too apprehensive and she was complaining day by day. For me, it was something to cheer up, because some manifestation has happened in the lesser important areas. That means the skin. And actually, I was waiting for that. But what was there, which is going to be a great surprise for me, was this. Yeah, this see, look, this abscess, a small abscess, but it is actually the picture taken after say 2 or 3 days of the second day, the next day of the medication. I think it was a little bit more red and appeared to be tender. But to my surprise, the child was unmoved by my examination of the abscess. Even on deep palpation, she was not affected. And that was a great revelation for the actual state of the person. And this, then on further inquiry, her mother said that Lyra always had a great tolerance for pain. And even on hitting a hard surface, she rarely cries. So that actually reminded me of a great symptom. Painlessness of a usually painful situation. And that is none other than opium. So opium was prescribed in the one impotency, and there happened a great change. The abscess burst open the next day after the opium was given. Fourth day, she developed a fever, a moderate one. So after a long, say 3 or 4 years, this particular child started developing a fever. That means his immune status or her immune status has started to respond in a perfect manner, a moderate one. Though the fever happened, it was a moderate. Though we will always wish to have a very high temperature, so that the high temperature is always something that suggests that the immunity is much better. On my plea, they somehow managed it without giving medicines, because for all these months, I was always pleading with them not to give any medicine or not to give any other medicines other than I give. Of course, I gave placebo, and to their surprise, in the first time, they could see a fever coming down without a paracetamol or an antibiotic. So, actually, I have given nothing. Thereafter, the Lyra or the child sleeps without crying. She became more active, and cognition improved, no time for masturbation, and started playing. So this was the change immediately happened after that episode of the surge in the immune process. So this is what we have to understand in all these type of cases. What such an acute can bring up in deep-seated cases, be it in any pathology. I'm giving it in this context, but that doesn't mean that it won't happen in any other cases, any other case. It can happen in any other situation with a deep pathology, where we haven't witnessed, or that the person haven't witnessed any acute with high fever in the recent past, and if he comes across such a reaction, and that is the best reaction that you could get in your treatment scenario. Okay.
Excuse me, sir. Meeting may end on its own by any time.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear
Yeah.
me, sir?
Yeah, of course.
Meeting may end on its own at any time, any point of time.
Okay. Actually, I have finished the case. Well, just a small video is there. I think you can wind it up.
Yes.
If any questions are there, you can ask me, or you can text me, or any doubts is there regarding my session, whatever I have told you. Anything need to be more clarified, you can come up. Okay.
I think you can play the video.
Yeah, actually,
I'll
this
unmute all the participants.
no. This is immediately